What you need to know about Education USA at America. Fact number 1. Education USA is a U.S. Department of State network of over 430 international students advising centers in more than 175 countries and territories. Fact number 2. There are 8 Education USA centers and 10 advisors across Indonesia. 2 in Jakarta, 2 in Surabaya, 1 in Medan, 1 in Malang, 1 in Makassar, and 1 in Banda Aceh. Fact number 3. There are 2 advisors in Education USA at America Pacific Place, Jakarta. And it is the only Education USA center that is open and available every day. But we are currently going virtual. Don't worry, we can still meet you. Register for an advising appointment. It's easy. Just email us at jakarta.adamerica@educationusa.org. And we'll set up a time and date for a session. If you can't wait, then head straight to our dedicated Zoom meeting room. Our advisors are standing by every day from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Go to Zoom and enter the ID number.
Pada Ramadan tahun ini, masyarakat di seluruh dunia, termasuk warga Amerika dan Indonesia, sedang bekerja, belajar dan beribadah dari rumah. Meskipun kita berjauhan secara fizik, semangat kita tetap bersama dalam menjadikan bulan suci Ramadan sebagai momen untuk refleksi diri dan peduli dengan sesama. Saya Heather Variava, Kuasa Usaha Ed Interim Kedubes AS, mengucapkan selamat menunaikan ibadah puasa.
Hello everyone, welcome to EdAmerica TV. My name is James, one of the e-guides here at EdAmerica, and we welcome our audience members joining us online. We hope that you're doing well and staying safe. EdAmerica is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. We have temporarily moved to a solely digital platform so that you guys could enjoy us from the comforts of your own home. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comment box section, and our panelists will answer them for the duration of this event. For those of you who are joining us through Zoom, welcome. There are a couple of features that you can use to actively participate with us. You can leave your questions in the Q&A box section and use our chat box section to say hi to the panelists and our other participants. In this episode, we'll be having everything you need to know about master's degree and PhD programs in the United States. But before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. I have a question here. True or false? Stanford University student presents PhD defense virtually during this pandemic. Stay tuned until the end of this program because we'll be giving live shout-outs to the person who answered correctly at the end of this event. Other than that, don't forget to take a selfie and tag EdAmerica's Instagram account. Without further ado, let me introduce you to today's facilitator, Kak Vina. Kak Vina, how's it going over there?
Hi, James. How are you doing? I'm pretty good. I'm doing pretty good here.
Doing great. You seem like very cheer and like.
Oh yeah,
really
I'm so
ready.
ready. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I'll leave the stage to you then.
All right. Thank you so much, James. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in. Welcome to EdAmerica TV. If this is your first time, if you've been here before, welcome back to EdAmerica TV. My name is Vina. I'm one of the advisors for Education USA based in EdAmerica. Pacific Place, Jakarta. But you may already know by now that we are currently going virtual. But I'm still very excited for, at least for Education USA and the whole America team. We are still be able to do this from home, as you guys are also working from home. So yeah, no, it's really an exciting time as well during this difficult time, because at least with Education USA, we are still be able to give you lots of information about studying in the US. And so for those of you who have not done any one-on-one advising between with either Santika or myself, don't be shy. Let's continue. Not just you guys attending this session, but after this, maybe you want to contact us via Zoom. Let's do that. All right. And so if this is not your first time, you may already know this is not our first time doing this. We have started this since April, the end of March at least. And so we have been covering a lot of interesting topics. And if this is your first time, I just want to give you a heads up. So the event tonight is everything you need to know about master's degree and PhD. Maybe some of you are expecting that I will be giving a presentation slides and stuff like that. But actually, I'm not going to use any presentation slides, but I have some key points in front of me that I will be happy to share with you guys. It's just that the first time I'm doing this from home, it feels a bit different. It feels weird even, because back in America, for those of you who've been to America before, you know that in America we have this huge 3x6 meter screen that I always use presentation slides on my events, on Education USA events. But I feel like now that we're going digital, I'm afraid to bore you guys, because you guys are watching it from home. Maybe you guys are laying down, just, like get yourself relaxed. And I don't want to bore you with just showing you presentation slides. But then at the same time, I want the session to be as informative as possible. So I'm still hoping that you guys are taking notes and at least, take a lot of new information after the session. And so, yeah, I'm going to try my best to make this session as lively as one of the attendees told me the other week, that she really appreciated this session. And she said, yeah, the session was really lively. I love hearing that. And so, yeah, I'll try to be as non-formal as possible as well. So get yourself relaxed. For those of you who just buka puasa, maybe you want to grab tea, grab a coffee, and get yourself relaxed. And you are also more than you're welcome to turn your camera on. And I'm very excited with the event tonight, because I'm actually not expecting this many registrants. So people who have registered via Zoom, just a couple of minutes ago I checked, almost 200 of you guys, and this is only for people who are in Zoom. So I also want to say hi to every one of you who was actually watching us through our other social media platforms. So let's see, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on YouTube, and we are now also on Instagram Live. And so if you want to move to Zoom and join the crowd here, you're more than welcome to do that. Go ahead. You can see the page events on our website, and then you can get the registration link. But if you're already comfortable watching from Facebook and other platform, by all means stay there. And you are also still able to ask questions. So leave your questions, or you just want to say hi and stuff like that on the comment box. Don't worry, we have our amazing America team who will make sure your question will be on a separate sheet, so that I can take a look at it when we are doing the Q&A. So let's see, what do I have here? Don't forget, this Saturday we have another interesting event. We also have a lot of registrants, which we are very excited about. We're going to talk about scholarship. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight, but on Saturday we're going to talk even deeper about scholarship opportunities for you guys who want to study in the US. So we welcome, for those of you who are wants to study bachelor's degree as well, which I'm assuming no one actually watching this session, because of course this session is very specific for master's degree and PhD. And so let's see, we have met new advisees, which Santika and myself are very excited about, and those who are or heard about us from attending this event. So I really also urge everyone else, if this is your first time and you have not done any one-on-one advising with us, no pressure, but just to let you know that we are here and we are always ready to assist you with your application process. All right, and we'll talk more about that in a couple of minutes. So I would like to introduce my colleague Santika. Santika is very busy in the chat box, trying to say hi to everyone. But I would like to steal her a little bit, just to talk a little bit about Education USA. So hi, Santika.
Hi, Fina. Thank you so much for letting us know about Education USA events and upcoming ones. And basically, we have, for now, we have more than 60 participants, which is a lot. Thank you for joining us, guys. And like Fina said, my name is Santika. I'm one of the Education USA advisor. I'm actually with Fina in the Education USA at America Center. So today I will tell you more about Education USA and what are we and where are we located in Indonesia, and basically like our profile. So here go. Education USA is a U.S. Department of State. We network over 400 international students advising center in more than 170 countries. And in Indonesia alone, we have 8 centers in total of 10 advisors. So in Jakarta alone, we have 2 centers. Like you have guessed, Vina and me is at America in Pacific Place Mall, Jakarta. So there's Vina and me there, and for every day, and we are never closed. And the next one in Jakarta is in U.S. Embassy Jakarta. We have David and Iqbal there. Another center in Indonesia is in Surabaya. We have 2 in Surabaya, one in the U.S. Consulate General. We have HESI. And next one, we have one in UNAIR, Universitas Airlangga. We have Mbak Ambar there. And we move to Medan. We are located in U.S. Consulate Medan. We have Jeffrey there. Moving on to Malang, we are in Universitas Muhammadiyah. We have Mazaki there. And in Makassar, we are located in Universitas Fajar. We have Cendani there. And last but not least, we are also located in Banda Aceh. We are in Universitas Islam Negeri, UIN Araniri. We have Lilis there. So yeah, we are very happy to receive any new student or advisee who came in to just ask us how to start planning their studies to go to United States and everything like that. So feel free to drop by if you know anyone in near that our center's location. You can just refer them because we are all free of charge and we try our best to be helpful. And we are guiding every advisee and students by the 5 steps. So I will let you know what are the 5 steps. If you're new here, you never hear about it. They're quite simple. So there are 5 steps. Step 1 is researching your options. So this is where advisors and you get to know each other. We ask you what you want to study. We ask you what are your target university that you want to apply to. What are you doing for your job and everything like that. So basically get to know each other and determining where you are suitable and your targets are. The second step is financing your studies. So this is where we talk about if you want to apply for any scholarship, if you're looking for any scholarship opportunities or other funding options. And the third step is completing your application. This one is very crucial and important. Fina and me and all advisors really, focus on this part because this is like the big chunk. You can ask us to give you essay review, statement of purpose, personal essay, CV, or resume review. Fina and me will be very happy to receive those. And other than that, you will, need other documents to apply to US universities, maybe a letter of recommendations, GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, GMAT, so things like that that you can ask to us and part of the application process itself. You're more than welcome to consult to us on that part, and we are here every day, especially now that we are online. You can reach us, like 2 clicks away. And on the 4th steps, we have apply for your student visa. This is where you need to do this when you are accepted by any US universities, and you will receive your I-20 and everything to prepare for your departure. So this part is we can give you a step-by-step on how you will have to apply for your student visa. And it's not scary like a lot of people out there say it's quite scary and everything. It's not, and we have the guide, so you can rest assured that we can give it to you. And last but not least, we have the 5th step here is for prepare for your departure. So Vina and me at America, we do this for the annual event. It's called Pre-Departure Orientation, and we are very excited for that. But as we know, because of the condition, we are not sure to host it online or on the spot. And we will notify people who are accepted accordingly. So in this final step, we actually give a lot of information regarding what you need to prepare before you go to United States, and making sure that you are ready to face all of the new things there. So yeah, basically from 1 until 5, we are here for you, and you're not alone. You have other friends and other advices here. So for example, for now, you can chat and interact with other people. If you're in Zoom, you can chat with other students here. And if you're in Facebook, Twitter, or other platform, you can ask questions by leaving the comments, and our team will transfer it to us accordingly. Okay, I think Vina have something fun for us, like polling. I'll give it back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Santika, and thanks for the reminder. I keep forgetting about this. So we have polling because I'm very excited. I'm just, while Santika is talking, I was just, chatting to some people on the chat box here in Zoom, and it's really interesting. People are shouting where they are watching this from, and we got people from Papua, we got people from Makassar. I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. We have about I think more and more people I think coming in. So we have polling. So Santika, can we can we launch the polling? So basically, we want to know a little bit more about you guys. There's no wrong or right answer for this. We just want to know. When do you guys want to start your study and stuff like that. So Santika, if you can actually have the polling, there you go. So I'll give you a minute or two for you guys to answer this question. The first one is, what level of degree do you want to study in the US? Obviously, tonight's event is about master's degree and PhD, but maybe, some of you guys wants to still in high school probably want to hear in advance about master's degree and PhD in the US as well. But particularly, we want to know, we want to see people who want to do master's degree. How many of you guys want to do master's degree, and how many of you guys want to do PhD? Or maybe if you're not planning to study in the US but you just want to check this event out, no pressure. The second question is, when do you plan to start your study in the US? I would definitely see most people will say fall 2021. But again, probably you guys are here want to start very early. So maybe for fall 2022, you can answer a later term for that one. Or maybe you're not sure yet. And so when we're doing the one-on-one advising, I will convince you to apply as soon as possible. And of course, my favorite part, where are you currently watching this from? Because when we are still in America, of course, we are expecting people to come to America. So we are just expecting people who live in the Jakarta area. But we actually see, since we're doing this digital, that more and more people from outside Java is actually tuning into our event as well, which I'm very, very excited about. And so maybe some of your, not even from Indonesia, and you actually saw this events from EdAmerica's website or social media. So this has been so far, it's been so good, with this going digital. It's business as usual for EducationUSA, for EducationUSA EdAmerica. We are still, Santika and I, we're actually still busy talking to a lot of you guys, doing a one-on-one advising, but I love it. I love it for those of you who already start your application process now, which I'm going to talk a bit about that as well. And then have you had an advising session with us in person, maybe before we, going digital like this, or maybe virtual? And so, all right, so we can end the poll, I think, Santika, and so we can share the results so you guys can also see it.
Okay, poll ended, and I'm waiting for the share button. So Fina, I think we have a lot. We have actually 4 persons from Papua, which is amazing. It's
that's amazing. It's really cool.
Yeah, I cannot share this poll because there's no button for it. So I don't know if this is the new.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
Share it. Okay, right. So hopefully you guys also can see what I'm seeing right now. 75%, 39 to be exact. For those of you who are here in Zoom. So maybe for those of you who are watching this from Facebook or other platform, kind of confused. What is this? So we're just doing a quick polling, just to we get a better sense of who you guys are. Great, 75%. I love it. 19% wants to do PhD. We're going to talk about that tonight. When do you plan to start study? In the US, 48% of you guys want to start study for next year. No better time to start than now. I'm going to talk about that as well. Later term, 17% and 31%. So it's I want to say a lot of you guys also still kind of maybe not sure yet about when to start. And for that part, I actually would love to hear why aren't you sure? So if you want to share with us later on, let us know. Maybe you can type it on the chat box. I just want to know, why are you not sure? So I can try to assure you. Where are you currently watching this from? 63% is in the Jabodetabek area. Hi guys. 13%, about 7 people outside Java, but love it. We got three people from the Nusa Tenggara area, Papua, and Sumatra, and we got 1 actually outside Indonesia. I wonder who you are. But thank you so much for joining in. And have you had an advising session with us? The majority of you guys have not, but I would like to extend the invitation to start having a one-on-one advising with Santika and myself. It will be one-on-one. So I received a couple of emails asking, so if I'm going to see you, maybe people kind of already familiar with this type of event. So probably some of you thought that it's going to be, in public like this, but no, it's different. It's going to be just between you and me, and between you and Santika. All right. Okay. So thank you guys so much for answering the polling, and so we can stop sharing. Okay. All right. Are you guys ready? I have my time here, so I'm not going over time. So if you have any question, I want you guys to start firing me with questions while I'm talking. And don't worry, we have the whole team basically here tonight. Not with me in person, but here, helping me with the questions. So I want you to start, giving, keep the questions coming. Let's see here. It's really interesting because I had almost an hour session yesterday with one of our new advisees. Hopefully she's watching tonight. And I told her that, hey, you know what? I'm going to talk pretty much what I told you tonight. On the event. So and I love it because not one time where I would feel bored in explaining what I'm about to explain to you guys. All right. So because I just think studying in the US is just the right destination. Everyone can study in the US and everyone should study in the US. And basically, I'm here to try to convince you why that's the case. All right. So basically, this is also somewhat like we're going to, if you've been here before, if you've been attending some of our digital events, we are pretty much going to revisit some of them. I'll do a lot of, I will start with questions that I believe a lot of you guys are also want to know. But yeah, if I don't cover any what I'm going to talk about tonight, please let me know. All right, please leave it in the chat box. Okay, so you may already know that with EducationUSA, we have 5 steps, right? We covered this a couple of weeks ago. We have step 1, research your options. Step 2, finance your studies. Step 3, completing your application. Step 4, applying for your student visa. And step 5, prepare for departure. That's something that Santika just explained to us earlier. So I'm going to start a little bit about step 1, and then we're going slowly with step 2 and step 3. So the question that I get a lot from people is where and when to start talking with EducationUSA. My answer is now it's fine. Now it's fine. You know, maybe you guys are still in a very early stage, and then you want to share that information to us. Let's do it now. That's actually what we've seen from a number of our new advisees for fall 2021. Even some of them have already started the first draft for their essay. So, but maybe you guys feel comfortable coming in when you are really starting the application process. Although oftentimes we see a lot of people start doing the application process very close to the deadline, and then everything will be in a hurry. And we want to actually avoid that. So for those of you who want to start in fall 2021, you need to start now, because we will see that there are a number of universities that have their deadline as early as this coming September or even October. Okay. Let's see, what do I have here again? And then a lot of people thought that when it comes to study higher education, master's degree, like wherever, as long as you have good grades, you're pretty much good to go. That's what I heard a lot from people. And what I want to, and I want to clarify that for countries, I would say outside the US, that might be the case. So I actually, heard a lot from my advisees actually, who are now already alumni or, currently studying in the US, who shared with us the stories, about their friends who end up in other countries outside the US. And a lot of people, said that all you need to have is basically your good grades. And so the thing is, that's not really the case when you want to study in the US, because in the US, it's very, very holistic. And when we start doing the one-on-one advising session, I am going to try to put myself as if I'm an admission committee from the US universities, and then you'll see how personal our conversation is, right? Because in the US, of course, you all know by now that, or maybe you don't know, maybe that's why you're attending the session. But when you want to apply in the US, the requirements are just quite a lot, and it's not as simple, it's not as easy as if you want to study in the US. But once you decide to study in the US, my suggestion is let's do all out. Let's dive in. Let's go all out. Let's just do everything, focusing to study in the US, right? A good mentor of mine, he graduated from Harvard. We invited him once in America, and he would say that when you want to apply, and he's an American who's currently living in the US, and he living in Indonesia, and he said that when it comes to studying in the US, when it comes to applying to US universities, it's all about a mental game. And I can't agree more when he said that. right? It's all about a mental game. It's all about how serious are you to study in the US. And so far, I've actually met a lot of Indonesians with that category, with that mentality, And so, those of you who have like a really wonderful goals in mind after you graduated from the US. And so, again, something that I want to tell people is everyone can and everyone should study in the US. A lot of us don't think so. A lot of us, when we're thinking about studying in the US, it's too far away to reach. And so, I'm just gonna, find somewhere near, or looking at the requirements is already stressful enough. And a lot of us just thought that you're not able to do it. And I want to change that perspective. All right. So when you have, assure yourself that, okay, I'm going to study in the US, the first thing that you want to do is, so what program? What major that you want to do? Have you done any campus research in the US or campus shop, the way I call it? Did you get what you're looking for? Because when it comes to studying in the US, so for example, you want to study public policy, for example, but public policy at one campus compared to public policy on the other campus, they might, teach different things. They also even go to the point where they have some kind of concentration. So if you want to study public policy, great. But then what exactly? Right? Or a good example is for those of you who wants to study public health. Almost like a lot of my advisees who want to do public health, they have different concentration that they want to do. And after they're doing a lot of research, they actually find some universities with a specific concentration, or even maybe like MBA. Maybe you can find an MBA program that is they have a concentration on, let's say, entrepreneurship or something about like in a public sector. So this is what makes the US is really interesting. Almost any kind of goals that you want, the US have it. The US universities have it. All right. So the very basic one, when you want to study in the US for master's or PhD degree, you have to know the major. I would, know one or two advisees who would come to, have a chat with me, and they are still confused between 3 different majors. Although the 3 different majors, they are from 3 different departments, although they are pretty much something that related to what this person wants to do when they are back. And so in that case, I told them, do more research about it. So for example, I had one advisee, fairly new, who talked to me a couple of weeks ago, and he has a background in engineering, but then now he wants to study MBA. This is very common in the US, where your S1 is just different with your S2, right? And that is totally normal in the US. Although you may want to be careful when it comes to the scholarship, like the Fulbright or LPDP. I'm going to talk more about that. But so yeah, this person, so I try to understand better about his profile, and that's something that I do when we just meet for the first time. I want to understand your overall profile, and then after we talk, what I told him is that it seems to me that he would be better off staying in the engineering field. But then I told him, but I completely understand that you want to learn the business side out of it. And you can actually find maybe some engineering program and with some business aspect of it. All right. Or if not, the other thing is the US allow you to take some what we call elective courses. It means that you are allowed to take a number of courses outside your major. And this is what makes the US is just, like a wonderful place to study. So yeah, this person, I can totally see that he would be thriving in an engineering program, but then by the time he's coming back home, he will still be, like get the business aspect out of it. All right. So major, you need to know your major. So if you don't know what your major is, if you don't know what major do you want to do, I would fairly say that maybe you're not sure what do you want to do. Right. So once you actually, so we want to come back to that first, you want to find out what do you want to do first. So if your answer is, because I'm going to ask you questions like, why the US? And then if you give me answers like, oh, it has been my dream to study in the US. I love the United States, or I want to work and live in the United States. That's not the answer that I'm looking for. And remember, I'm going to put myself as if I'm an admission committee, and that is not the answer that I'm looking for, right? You can do better than that. It's an obvious answer. I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear that it has been your dream to study in the US. It's almost for everyone's dream to study in the US, right? So I want you to convince me, like, how serious are you? How far are you in doing some research about the US? Right? And so once we're good on that part, we can move on to another thing. So the next thing, so first you need to know your major, right? The second thing is you need to know, like, where are you in your English? And this is something that a lot of us will find it somewhat challenging. But when we are about to go to the application process, I said this a couple of weeks ago, I think, on different events, that we're going to go to an English territory, right? So we're going to do the GRE or GMAT if the campus required in English, and then the campus will definitely ask you to submit your TOEFL or IELTS, and then of course we have essay to work with. So everything is in English. And so why did I say challenging? Because especially if you want to study master's or PhD, the level of TOEFL or IELTS is somewhat higher than other countries, even in Europe. Okay, so I'm going to mention about that in a minute. So we want to make sure first that you are pretty much good to go in the English department. And then after that, I'm going to ask, how's your math, right? Because you want to, especially for programs where you're going to be required to take GRE or GMAT, I'm going to explain to you why that's the case. But how's your math? As long as you told me that, okay, I'm pretty confident in my math, then we're pretty much also good to go. And then I'm going to also check, are you applying to other countries? There is no right or wrong answer in this. I just want to know if you are also, considering other countries. Let's see, what do I have here? But yeah, I'm going to, especially, I'm always like impressed for people when I ask that question and they said, oh no, I'm just applying to all US campuses. And if you're one of them, you're definitely the type of person where once you're doing, like everything about the US, let's go all out together. So it really shows me how serious you are in applying to the US, because like realistically, when comparing the application process to the US and other countries, it's just so different, right? So if you come to me and you said, oh, I'm just applying to the US campus, only one campus, and then the rest I'm, like looking at, some other Asian countries or Europe. For that part, I'm not saying that that's not the right thing to do. It's totally your choice. But I can see that as we move along, how serious are you in the application process? Because I would see, a number of advisees where they don't really give everything when it comes to applying to the US. So it's more like, okay, I'm just gonna give US a try. If I don't get the US, have like some other choice. So in that case, I also try to, like withdraw a little bit, because again, like I prefer to work with someone who just, like all out, like I I'm going to study in the US. I know it's going to be tough, but I'm going to do this, right? So again, like I said earlier, from a good mentor of mine, it's about all mental game. So you know that it's going to be complicated. You know that I'm going to ask you probably a whole lot, revisions on your essay. You know that you're going to be bothered by, like studying GRE and stuff like that, but you're still doing it anyway. And this is the kind of people that I met a lot. The good news is, I met a lot of people who are like that. So, and I'm pretty sure you guys are too. All right. And so, how to search the program. So now let's say, okay, so Fina said that I have to know my major. I definitely know my major, but I just don't know how to find the right program. So a lot of us, when it comes to studying in the US, all we want to is, just like applying to, those universities that we've heard a lot, like the Ivy League or MIT, Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, and stuff like that. And I'm not saying you're not supposed to apply for that. No, it's quite the opposite. Like, I want you to actually apply to those universities as well. However, that's not really how I advise my advisees to do. Just like, pinpoint the name of the campus. Oh, MIT sounds really cool. By the time I'm coming back, and then I can tell people that I went to MIT, so that's why I want to study MIT. That's not really how we want to do it. So I'm not a big fan in just, looking at the general ranking. So if you Googling it right now, like US University, general ranking, they will give you a lot of lists, but that's not how we want to do it. So what we want to do it is, so you type in the name of the program, and then you can actually be very specific. So let's say you want to study public health and, like learning probably about aging population. Type it in. US University Public Health Aging Population or something like that. If there's nothing come out, maybe you can take out the aging population and just start looking at public health list first. The thing is, there is no official ranking system from the US government. There is none. So all those rankings that you see online is actually coming from the third-party organization. So this is also similar when you're looking for a specific program. So for example, if you want to study, kind of like, public policy or international relations, if you type that in, most likely the first one that will come out is from a website like Foreign Policy, or something that is similar to that. So they usually conduct their own ranking. And so that's what we want to start with. But it doesn't mean that if what's on the list is, like number one is, let's say Harvard, and number two is Yale, and number three is, like all those highly selective universities, doesn't mean that you should pick that number one university, right? Because that number one university for that specific program doesn't mean that that's the right program for you, right? Because like I said earlier, that almost every program in the US, they might have some kind of, concentration that might be, that's what you're looking for from the other campuses. Maybe the one university that have that specific concentration that you want to take is listed number 20 on the list. So in that case, that's definitely what you want to do, right? And this is interesting because I actually saw a lot of our advisees did exactly that. So for example, one advisor that I would just never forget is, I think he's already back now in Indonesia, but he got accepted to UC Berkeley and Stanford. Both are really, really great universities, right? And then a lot of people thought for sure that he's going to take Stanford, right? But no, he has to actually not taking Stanford and take UC Berkeley, because he said that he realized that UC Berkeley has more concentration, has, have more courses that by the time he's done, he can implement that right away when he's back to Indonesia. So that's the kind of example that we want to do, right? Or I have one advisee as well so she applied for both master's degree and PhD. So she didn't do any master's degree before, but in the US, there are actually a number of PhD programs where you can actually just take PhD right away after your bachelor's degree. So she did that. She applied for her master's degree to a number of highly selective universities. Like I think I know for sure he applied for Harvard. He applied, I think, for also Columbia as well. And then for the PhD, she applied to a number of research huge public university in the U.S., such as the University of Maryland, University of Washington, and so he got accepted to most of the campuses. He got accepted to Harvard, and then of course people thought, of course they're gonna take Harvard, right? He didn't take Harvard, so she didn't take Harvard, and then so she decided to go ahead with her PhD at the University of Maryland. I'm going to check with her. I would love to invite her to a session with us so that you can actually see that you can actually turn down these campuses, but it's nothing to lose to apply. That's something that I see a lot of from advisees, right? So a lot of people, oh no, I'm not applying to Harvard, I'm not applying to MIT, I'm not applying to those kind of campuses. This is too hard. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get accepted. But then I said, why not? Why not? It's nothing to lose. If you don't get accepted, you don't get accepted. But at least give it a try, right? And that is something that I would like to learn more from you. Like, I would like to get a sense of your overall profile. Like, if you know your major, what is it that you want to do after you graduate? And then and then we're going to go a bit more technical. How's your English? How's your math and stuff like that? All right. And so a lot of people also ask, so Fina, if I did study, like psychology or even like I studied business for my bachelor's degree, and then I want to completely change all that for my master's degree or PhD, can I actually do that? In the US, technically, yes. Although probably you want to also show at some, however small, you want to show that, if you want to go to business world, you may want to show some kind of like, not just like an experience, but to tell the admissions committee on why exactly you want to study business from a complete different program like engineering. So how can you show that? Of course, essay. That's why essay is very important. I haven't even talk about that, but if you have more time, we will. So now let's talk a little bit about the finance part of master's degree and PhD. We're going to talk more about that in detail on Saturday. But of course, when it comes to studying in the US for master's and PhD, the two government scholarship that are available is from the US is we got Fulbright, and then from Indonesia we got LPDP. But then from the US universities we have usually what they call teaching assistantships position, or GRA, graduate research assistant. Each universities probably have different terms, but those are the ones that a lot of people are usually aim for when it comes to studying in the US. Let's see here, and with LPDP, we have not heard so far yet from them whether or not they're going to open an application this year. But something that I can share, because the majority of our advisees are with LPDP. LPDP, and of course also because America is located in Jakarta, so a lot of our advisees are under the category of LPDP regular. But then we also have the LPDP, like afirmasi, yeah. So some people here from Papua, maybe you guys are under the LPDP BIT, if I'm not, maybe, right? Beasiswa Indonesia Timur, and there are so many other type of LPDP under the umbrella of LPDP afirmasi. So if you are under the category of LPDP regular, our choice of campuses will be very limited. Because they only have, I think, about 15 universities in the US that you can choose from that allows you to take all major. And then they break down a number of universities also in the US. where you can apply, but for specific program. So for example, like NYU, you can't just apply to NYU under the LPDP regular for, like all majors. So I think last time I checked, NYU is allowed, you are allowed to apply to NYU if you want to study law. And there are two other programs that I can't remember on top of my head. But, and then that's another thing is if you want to study computer science, I think CMU is there, Carnegie Mellon University, which is definitely a really good school. But if you are under the LPDP afirmasi, consider yourself lucky. And I would say really consider the US, because the list that the LPDP allow you to take is a lot, so take that take that for granted, I would say. And so, yeah, we're going to talk more about that on Saturday, but something that I would like to cover in this part, which is the step 2, which is financial studies, is that a lot of people ask, Safina, should I, do scholarship first or LOA first? So it depends. Back in the days, at least when I just first started with EducationUSA, I keep telling people that me personally, I like to know that financially I'm already secured. So I tell people that, if they ask me, I would, definitely go ahead with scholarship first, because it's actually not easy to get scholarship, because almost everybody is looking for scholarship. So let's talk about LPDP, right? Almost everybody will apply for LPDP. So, and it's very competitive. Your chance of getting in is very small. So I like it to be, like knowing that I'm, at least in the financial sector, I'm pretty much secured. However, when it comes to LPDP, the timeline of the deadline between LPDP and then the US universities is not matching at all. So in this case, a lot of people actually do the university first, so they're aiming to get accepted, and then they're going to defer it. Okay, because they're going to defer to the following year, so they have time to apply for the LPDP. Because especially for people who are under the category of LPDP regular, if you have the LOA or the letters of acceptance to specific universities that they listed, which is pretty much all of those universities are highly selective. If you have that LOA by the time you're applying for LPDP, you are granted to go ahead to the interview process. So that's really nice. So that's what we see, actually a lot of people doing that route. With Fulbright, you don't have to worry. Their timeline is on point, because of course it's Fulbright, because it's a scholarship from the US government. So just so you know that Fulbright, they have their deadline once every year. So the next one would be obviously 2021, but that is not for a study that is starting the same year. So if you're applying the Fulbright for 2021, you're going to depart for 2022. And that's like the perfect timeline, because yes, the deadline for the universities can actually be a year before the program starts. So that's why if you want to start, if you're planning to depart in 2021, you want to start now. Because again, there are a number of universities that have their deadline as early as this September, and that is for a study that is start September 2021. I know it sounds really crazy, right? Like so far apart, but it is the deadline. But then we also have a number of universities where the deadline is not until February on the same year for study that is in for fall 2021. So for example, you want to study in September 2021, there are a number of campuses that maybe their deadline is in February 2021. But it doesn't mean you should wait, maybe now, oh great, okay, so I'm just going to find some campuses that have their deadline in February 2021. So I'm just going to start maybe coming to EducationUSA in November. I would not suggest that. We definitely want to start now, because there are a couple of things that a lot of people will find it challenging, and you definitely need more time on that, right? So so that's a little bit about the funding situation. I would like to talk a little bit about PhD, which is if you guys are watching this session and you want to study PhD, good news. And this is something that I would like to tell people about. If you want to study PhD, really consider the US. I'm not, okay, now maybe I sound biased because I'm with EducationUSA, so of course I want people to study in the US. But no, really consider the US. Because when it comes to PhD program, so let me go back a little bit. So with master's degree, a lot of people, Fina, I want to study MBA. What are the scholarship? And I don't want to apply Fulbright or LPDP for whatever reason. Is there any scholarship? And I would say not so much, right? So when it comes to master's degree, scholarship, the universities don't really have that many funding unless you want your program is very research heavy, and then they are not accepting that many people. So maybe we're talking about 20, no more than 50 people. Yes, there might have some funding available for you. And usually it's in the form of you working as a teaching assistant. For PhD, a lot of PhD programs in the US will give you grant. Yes, at some point they will ask you to do some teaching as well. But then what they're going to do is so this is similar to the teaching assistant for master's degree. They're going to waive your tuition. It will become $0. And then at the same time, because you're going to work as a teaching assistant or research assistant or whatever they're going to call it, they don't want to call it pay you, but it's kind of like almost like a form of as if you're working for the universities, and then they're giving you salary. And I'm telling you, the salary or they sometimes they call it allowance. It's actually a lot, and it's enough to live in the US, even if you bring your family with you. So you have a better idea, right? That it is actually really possible. So this is why, like, it's when it comes to PhD, I see a number of people, more and more people, especially Indonesia, and I know our government is really pushing Indonesians to do more PhD programs, and I can't stress it enough. Consider US for your PhD study, and you don't even have to worry about applying for LPDP, applying for Fulbright. Yes, if you can, that would be great, especially if you are applying for Fulbright. This is something I'm going to talk more about on Saturday, but Fulbright, it's just, we're going to talk about that on a Saturday to give you more detail about it. But that's great if you can actually apply for Fulbright or LPDP, but you actually don't have to. In fact, a lot of our advisees who got accepted for PhD, almost all of them, they just go directly to the university. All right. So, and then with PhD though, when we're coming to the application process itself, now we're slowly going to step 3, which is completing your application. Like how with master's degree, I'm going to ask you for your, you need to do like TOEFL, you need to do, GR or GMAT if the university is asking for that, and then essay. For PhD, it's pretty much the same, although I also see a number of PhD programs where they don't ask you, they will allow you not to take GRE if such and such. So for example, if you've been in a work field for more than 5 years or something like that, they will no longer ask you for GRE and stuff like that. But so the application process is pretty much the same, but with PhD, you will want to have a research proposal with you, and you may want to contact the professor. You don't have to, and this is also another question that I get a lot from master's degree applicants. Hey, Vina, I want to study S2 in the US, right? Do I have to contact the professor? For master's degree, for S2, you don't have to, but I would definitely recommend you to do that. And so I will talk a little bit deeper in the application process, but I would like to stop there a little bit because we have 30 minutes left, and I would like to chat with Santika in the Q&A.
Hi, Fina. Yeah. So we have a lot of questions, and they shoot you a lot of questions as you requested, and I think they cannot wait for us to answer them. But before I dive into the first question for you, I will recap some questions that I answered in the chat box in Zoom, just in case they missed it. So there are 3 that I answered from Richard about Fulbright. Will we talk about Fulbright on Saturday, our next event? Yes, that Fina answered. And another one is any GRE or TOEFL IBT course from America we can participate. So we had this in January until March, and we have the recording, so you can email us. This question is from Yuda. Next one is I've applied Fulbright back in February and never heard back. This is also from Richard. So yeah, you can contact with Aminef directly because they manage the Fulbright scholarship, and unfortunately we don't have like the latest update from them. So that's that. And let's go to the first question for Fina. Let's see. From Christian Sukan in Facebook. I have a question. Do you have differences? I think this mean like references about School of Leadership and Educational Leadership Master Program on USA.
So thank you so much, Christian, for asking that question. So the answer is we don't actually have a database on. So if people ask me, so Fina, I want to study LLM, what will be the right university for me? I don't have the answer for that. So that's going to be your homework to find out. So in this case, School of Leadership and Educational Leadership Master's Program. So what you want to do is, so you already have the key words here. So you want to type that and then add US University in there. So School of Leadership or Educational Leadership US University. So type that in, and then whatever that come up on the Google search box, if they have like, they might have like a one website where they list some of the rankings, or maybe the university will just pop out just like that. So that means that specific university has that program. So you want to put that on your list. And then after that, you're going to do a bit more research for that specific program. Really ask yourself, what is it that you're looking for? So it's not about you trying to match yourself to the university, which that is something that a lot of people do. So, you know what? I want to study at Cornell University, and then I will try my best to match what they are looking for. That's not how we found the university. It's the other way around. How that university will match to what I want to do. So when it comes to looking for campuses, you want to be very selfish, right? You want to be very selfish, asking yourself, I need this. I need to, like, by the time I'm done with my study, I have to be able to so that I can fix it, whatever it is that I'm going to do when I'm coming back to Indonesia. So you will find that university in the US. And I'm telling you, when I tell my advisors to do that, yes, it will require some time, but they always come back with a smile on their face. They said, Fina, thank you so much for pushing me to do this research, because I found out that this university is something that I've never thought of applying before. They have exactly what I'm looking for. And so that's how we want to do when it comes to searching for campus.
Okay, thank you, Fina. That's a very good answer for that. And we really encourage you to do your research, because only you know what you need and what you're looking for, not us. We are here to guide you. So next question, we have Muhammad Agus Hardiansyah. He is very eager. He's from Makassar. He popped in our chat today, and he would love to turn on his video and unmute and ask you directly about his own question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Agus. I'm from West Kalimantan actually, but now I'm working in Batam. Okay, so my question is, so before that, I'm really interested in studying in the US, because I believe that whenever it comes to the US, we are entering the international market, nor Europe. Okay, that's what I believe. Okay, so I was inspired by my professor. He went to Michigan State University. Okay, but I checked in LPDP for the regular program, for the scholarship regular program. They don't have, they offered Michigan University, but not in education field. So for a brief introduction, my bachelor degree was sociology of education, and my master degree is social science education, concentrating in sociology. So since that I have limited choices in the US, especially for the regular scholarship program from LPDP. You know what? I searched the keyword education. They just offered the university UCB, only UCB, only LPDP regular program only offered UCB for the education field. Okay, and talking about that, I'm studying sociology education and then sociology again for my master. I need your advice. Like, what should I take? Actually, I'm interested in studying the gender equality and then the sexual education and also religion. Okay, but back then in Indonesia, we know that we have a strict rule when it comes to the lecturer. We have to be studying at the same field. You know what? And if we are jumping too far, then our certificate will not be considered. Will not be recognized like that. So this is my first question. Where I should take my PhD program? And then especially for gender, sexual education, and for the religion. And my interest is I really want to study more about the curriculum in the US, where they don't require religion in their school, public school. I want to do research at if we can do that in Indonesia. Like we are, we can say deleting religion from Indonesian public school. And then for the next question, I was interested when you say that they have the internship program and they can offer the PhD students for free of tuition or something else for the allowance and something. I was interested when you say that. And then, is that true? When we want to finish our PhD program, we have to spend like 6 years in the US. Okay, that's all my questions. For further information, I can search for more. Like first, I need you to recommend me where should I go, because I still have no idea where to apply, what universities should I research for, and then.
Okay, thank you, Agus,
Yeah.
for the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the question. This is great. More PhD candidate in the house. Love it. So, of course, when you're asking me where should you apply, I don't have the answer for that. But what I can tell you is, I'm assuming you have your research proposal with you, right? You must have your research proposal with you. Like, what is it about gender equality and studying about religion that you want to do? Once you have the research proposal, what you want to do now is find the professor, find the faculty member. So when it comes to PhD, you don't always have to do the search system, like I said, with master's degree, like, oh, I want to study international relations or public policy, and then you type public policy, US University. You can do that for PhD, but then the way I recommend people is actually find the professor first. And then wherever that professor is currently teaching or currently doing the research, which we are trying to look for a professor that is somewhat doing a similar research, right? So then that's the university for you. So when it comes to PhD, you don't actually just, look, oh, for my PhD, I want to study at University of Virginia. For whatever reason, I need to study there, right? Unless you actually find a really good professors who are willing to work with you, then that's the university, right? So when it comes to PhD, it's very, very personal. So you want to contact a number of professors, and how can you do that? Mr. Google. So you can just type in, play around with the keywords. I love when I love what Google can help us with. So just type in some of the keywords that you're looking for, and then find some people, and then maybe you already have like someone that you really look up to, whom you know that they're doing a similar research about gender equality and religion. And I'm telling you, that's why I'm giving you a big thumbs up when you ask that question, because yes, that's not an everyday thing that you would hear people here especially Indonesia interested in doing that thing. But great that if you want to do that, because in the US it's very, you need to have like an open-minded when you want to study in the US. So almost all the programs that you're looking for, gender equality or even something that is very controversial topic, taboo and stuff like that, they have it in the US. And that's why a lot of people can do whatever research that they want to do in the US. So yeah, so what I can tell you is find the professors, and then keep us posted. Once you find it, share us the news, right? So assistantship. So yes, so when it comes to PhD, so once you're have a introduction back and forth with the professors, the next thing would be you're asking them just to make sure that, hey, so if I'm applying to this program under your supervising, you as a supervisor, how about like the grants? Does this university offer you the grants? If the professor really wants to work with you, which I believe there will be a number of US professors who would be interested in talking to you about this, then yeah, so that's how exactly you want to get the funding from. Once they're really interested, they will talk to the department that, hey, I want this person to be in my field of research. So that's really common in the US, right? And yeah, that's the thing with PhD. When other countries might have probably like 3-4 years, in the US sometimes it's a minimum of 4 all the way to like 7 years. So a lot of things to consider. But yeah, we'll if you want to know more about it, let me know. We can do like one-on-one session about that. Right? I really hope that answers your question.
Okay. Can I please? Okay.
Sorry, we have to move on to the next question.
Yeah. So yeah, Muhammad. So let's continue talking with one-on-one. Because I would definitely love to hear more on what you have. But yeah, let's stop there, and then yeah. But thank you though. Thanks for reaching.
I will give you the context. Don't worry. I will give you in the chat box, so check it out. And our next question is from Priscilia Winata in Zoom also as well. Are there any certain rules to make essay? So I think to make it brief, can you like give 3 things that you should do or shouldn't do in writing your essay, Fina?
Yes. So I definitely can't spend more than 3 minutes to explain this, because don't worry, we're going to have a session on this hopefully next month. So please stay tuned. But certain rules to make essay, you definitely have you want to know what is it that you want to do after you graduate. So it's not about telling what the universities already know. So let's say something that you've already put on your resume or CV. Forget about all of that. We don't want that in the essay. So it's all about like, why do you want to take that specific program, and what is it that you're trying to do? Who are you trying to help? Or if it's not a who, what are you trying to help? So you need to be very careful. And this is actually coming back to the very early stage of us doing an advising, because again, like I'm going to put myself as if I'm an admission committee. So I would like to know, so make me understand what is it that you're trying to do by studying in the US. Again, the answer is not because the US is, they have the best education, right? But it's more than that. It's more like, so, currently in Indonesia, we have Industry 4.0, where the government is credited by the Indonesia 2025 or 2035 or something. We are moving towards something, and I would like to have the government, I would like to work alongside the government, because we currently, we do not have enough blah, 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 blah. And so you see that there is a gap in what it is that we're trying to do here in Indonesia, or it doesn't have to be as big as Indonesia. Maybe you want to help certain community, or maybe even like your community, wherever you guys are. So you need to have like a really clear goal. And then you also need to convince them, you have to be able to connect what the problem is with what the universities actually offer. So you can't just say that I need this specific skills, but then by the time you're talking about why that specific university, you can't really explain that that university will able to get you there. So again, I know it's somewhat rough for you to understand at this point, but don't worry, I have a specific session on that alone. But I hope that helps a little bit. Santika, you're on mute.
Okay, so next question is from Graciela. Hi, Santika and Fina. I wonder if it is too late to start now since I haven't done any TOEFL or even GRE test yet. Okay, so this is your favorite question.
Yeah. So if you're asking me is it late? I wouldn't say yes, because this is something that I've already told a lot of people since January, that if you want to study for 2021, start now. Now as in like January when I said that. But we didn't see that a lot of people actually already start doing that. So what I'm trying to tell you that now is May, is better than later. So is it late? It is somewhat late, but do you still have time? Definitely. But you need to like really start now, because we got TOEFL, right? You need to work on your TOEFL, you need to work on your GRE and the essay. Don't forget about the essay. Essay is something that a lot of people actually found it really challenging, but then don't worry, that's what Santika and myself are here for. We'll be able to give you some review, some feedback about essay. So yeah, you can definitely start now.
All right, so yes, start now. Better late than never. And next one is from Lutfi. How many years for average to finish a PhD? I hear 3 years is normal, but it can stretch up to 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So I covered that earlier. 3 years is actually not a normal length of study for PhD. Actually, it is common in other countries outside the US, but in the US it's actually a minimum. It can be a minimum of like starting with 4 years of PhD, especially if you have not done any masters and then you want to jump ahead with PhD. It might be longer because they will require you sometimes like 1 year to kind of like do masters real quick, and then continue the PhD. But normally PhD itself in the US, I would say a minimum of 4 years, 4 or 5 years, all the way to 6 to 7 years.
Okay. Next one is, okay, let's see. We got a good question, I think.
Suchi?
From Suchi. I just graduated from the bachelor degree. Can I apply for a master degree next year? Or should I get experiences related to the master degree first and then apply later? I really want to study journalism or digital media in the US.
Good question. So, but you said study journalism and digital media. So actually, there are a number of universities in the US where it's fine for you to actually apply right away without any working experience. With study journalism or digital media, it will depend on the university, I would say. But then the thing is, not a lot of universities in the US will, like say it on their website that, oh, you need to have 2 years experience, except for MBA. For MBA, it's very clear that you have to have like a working experience. But yeah, but then I wouldn't see like why not if there are like a number of universities that do not require working experience. So technically speaking, you can actually apply right away without any working experience. However, it depends on what kind of scholarship are you looking for. If it's from the university, like I mentioned, with some kind of teaching assistantship and stuff like that, maybe that's not going to be a problem. But if you are applying for LPDP in particular, it's not that they are saying that you need to have working experience, or maybe they do. I'm not really sure. It's very technical. Maybe you want to check it on their website, but it's more like you're going to compete with other applicants with working experience, and so I'm afraid that your chance would be small compared to other people who have, maybe like 2-3 years of 2-3 years of experience. So if you can actually aim for at least 1 year experience, that would be great. So that because we also want to build our resume or CV. And so if we don't have any working experience, it will look empty, and then maybe it doesn't going to look that appealing for the admissions committee compared to like others who have. So, but shortly, the short version to answer that is it is actually possible for you to go ahead and applying right away after you graduate. Yep.
All right, so that's a good answer for that. And next one is, I'm still in my master from Septian Ari in Zoom. I'm still in my master program in electrical engineering right now, and I have a plan to pursue PhD in USA after I graduate. Great. I've seen some universities in USA are running their PhD integrated with Master of Science for Engineering major. Are all PhD in USA, especially for engineering major, like that?
Mm-hmm. Good question. Not all, but it is very common for programs in the US where, like I said earlier, if they allow people who doesn't have a master's degree to apply to their PhD program, and in that case, they will integrate their master's degree program. But it's a quick one, probably like a year and a half. But if you already have your master's degree, I'm pretty sure the university might have, might offer you so that your program will be shorter. Because of course, obviously, you don't have to retake some other classes. So this is definitely something that you want to talk with the university about. And yeah, so yeah, this is great. More PhD questions. So yeah.
Okay, so next question is from Agung in Zoom. So his question is a bit long because he explained his experience. So I'll just summary, his question. It's, would you please give me a most specific major? So unfortunately, we cannot give you, a specific major. And the next one is, how must I do to strengthen my background to make sure that I meet a strong criteria to be accepted? I have been doing a research about language learning, and I've arranged a paper about local language revitalization in English language study for a conference. Any achievement that will be, strength to for his requirement.
So he wants to study what, PhD? No, he didn't say.
He didn't say any level of study. So I think trying to say is kind of like what kind of achievement that he have to strive in order to be, more desirable in the eyes of the program and university.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way I look at it, I have to look at your resume or CV to get a better idea of how you've done this field. But just reading this, I would say that it's already looks pretty good. So keep doing what you're doing, and so yeah, and then this is something that quite difficult to just answering it if it's like good or not, but it is definitely something that we can definitely continue doing a one-on-one session.
Okay, so shout out to Dinda, also sent a very long questions and with her updates on her application. So I tell her to see us for one-on-one Zoom advising with you or me. So yeah, for if you have a long description on what you really want to do, please meet us in Zoom for one-on-one advising, or if you're too shy, you can ask through email first. And next question is, so basically I've already from Muslimin. So basically I have already researched about my program in the official university website, looking for the admission information. They don't put any requirements for GRE or GMAT for applying in that program. Shall I ask directly by email to the university? to make sure that all of the requirements has already been posted on the website. Thank you.
No, you don't have to. Universities in the US, they always update whatever it is that they need to update, and they are always put everything as is. So if you don't find anywhere on the website for that specific program that you want to apply to that they don't mention any GRE or GMAT, so they're not asking for GRE or GMAT, so you don't have to worry about it. Oftentimes people are unsure about it, and then you start contacting them, and then they just never got back to you because the admissions committee, they receive a lot of questions, so they only answer those who are very particular, very specific, and that is not on their website. But usually these kind of questions, if they don't put any GRE or GMAT requirements, and then you ask them if they're asking GRE for GMAT, well, I mean, if the admissions committee being very being nice, they might answer you, but oftentimes they're not going to answer you because it's pretty clear. So yeah, and consider yourself lucky if you actually found a program in the US that don't require any GRE or GMAT, and it's very normal, guys. So I know I mentioned GRE, I know I mentioned GMAT, something that you need to work on, but it's fair enough for people that, if I want to study this program and I don't want to apply for GRE, and I said, sure, why not? So let's find some campuses that don't have GRE or GMAT. So yeah.
All right, so we have about 5 minutes left, and I think we can take one more question. So this one is about a PhD again. So the question is, I think you already answered this. This is from Astri Toldo in Facebook. If the PhD is about 4 until 7 years, how about the sponsor? Do you think the sponsorship will support the study for 4 until 7 years, or do we need to look for other sponsor to support the rest of the year?
Another great question. It will depend on the university. So, for example, the one advisee that I told you earlier, she applied to a number of PhD programs. She talked to all of the professors. All of the professors want her. She applied to, I think, 3-4 campuses for PhD programs, and then I think she got all of them. But then she definitely go with the university with the most funding. The most funding means the one that pretty much will cover her program for the whole PhD, whatever years that she needs to do. So she also shared that there are a number of universities that she got accepted where they said, the university said that, hey, yeah, you got accepted, and we can fund you for the first 3 years, and then so the rest they're expecting you to find some other sponsorship outside. So it really depends on the university. It really depends on the program. So that's something that you want to check with the department. With LPDP, I think they are going to fund you for the first 3 years. If I'm not mistaken, that's something that you can definitely check on their website. Although maybe they might change here and there since there is no update from them yet for this year. But yeah. So for the universities, that's definitely something that you want to check with the department. So I think Santika is freezing, but I'm going to check. We got here. We have some time. Let me just check with the team real quick. Santika, are you there? Okay, so I think we are out of time. But I think we got a number of questions here. But I'm sorry, guys, if you have more questions, let's continue this one-on-one. I'll be very happy to talk to you more about your application process. I'm very excited that more and more of people want to study PhD. And so in that case, thank you guys so much for joining in. I really appreciate your time for allowing me to share with you guys this information. And don't worry, we're going to have more of this in the future. So please stay tuned to our events. So I'm going to give you back to our e-guide.
All right. Well, thank you, Fina. Thank you so much, Fina and Santika, for the informative session. It's really helpful to a lot of students out there. Earlier in the event, we asked you guys True or false? Stanford University student presents PhD defense virtually during the pandemic. And the correct answer is true. Following county orders to limit gatherings due to the spread of COVID-19, doctoral student Anjali Bisaria presented her PhD defense via Zoom. Shout out to Argado Schwarzkopf and Advolve PC for answering directly. Thank you to everyone who has participated. Don't forget to tune in next time and catch a chance to get a shout out from us. Now you may be wondering, how can I develop an awesome idea for a place like this? You don't need to worry. All you need to do is visit our website at www.atamerica.or.id. Select create a program and click collaborate with us. All the event proposals coming to us will be reviewed and your event might be featured here soon. You can also subscribe to our newsletter to get weekly updates of our events and straight to your inbox. Right, this wraps this episode. It's been fun, everyone, but we have to say goodbye for now. Follow our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at @ATAmerica for all our event updates, fun content, and so much more. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining. Again, my name is James. See you next time on EdAmerica TV.